Evil Dead 2.
What's up, you wild deadites? Logan Myerz and what's her name?
Bruce Campbell.
It looks like Evil Bruce over there. Groovy.
Groovy.
We're back here for Cinephellas.com doing more 31 Days of Horror. It's been an awesome month thus far. It's on the 9th day. Been posting a video every day this month. Been a good time. But tonight, me and my good mate here are going to be talking about a classic film from 1987, Sam Raimi's sequel to The Evil Dead 2.
2, Dead by Dawn.
So yeah, man, I love this movie. It's one of the few really good sequels. Rewatching this for the first time in a while on 4K, it looks beautiful. Like the practical effects that really stand out to me in this movie looks so good compared to movies coming out now.
I agree. Yeah, I saw it in 4K too. It did. It looked really good. I was like, damn, I expected this to look like kind of bad. You know, usually when they upgrade it to a better resolution, the older films don't hold up as well. This still had that like dark, kind of gritty, like hands-on feel. But yeah, it looked really good. Even the effects, even some of the bad ones with like the stretchy heads and stuff. You know,
Yeah.
I bought more than I'd buy some CGI. I'm like, yeah, it looks kind of silly, but they put in the effort to actually make all that, which is awesome.
Yeah, like real artists making that.
Yeah.
Just really solid sequel. You know, it's up there with like Halloween 2, I would say. But it's basically like pretty much the same of the first movie, right? We got Bruce Campbell, Ash. It's up in the cabin with his girlfriend this time, instead of his group of friends in the first movie because they died. He's up in the cabin, you know, and spooky things start happening, and the dead come back.
Yeah. So the basic premise is they're at the cabin. There's this professor. They go there and they find this tape recorder, and it has these recordings on it from this professor who supposedly found pages from the Book of the Dead or the Necronomicon in this whole franchise. That's a big thing, the Book of the Dead. If you speak the words, then it brings the evil. And of course, that happens again with the recording. They play the recording and he utters those words, Klaatu, Barada, Niktu. And the demons come in. Yeah. And it has that cool effect. It has that cool effect again with the smoke and the zooming in. That's really cool.
I was about to say that. That's one thing that really sticks out with Evil Dead. That nothing's like it, not comparable. Just the way they use the camera, like you're saying, the fog, and it's like you're with the demons and the
demons,
the evil. You're like with them, creeping up to the cabin, and it goes like super fast and sideways. And I love how they do. I don't know how they do that, but just the way that it's shot is really awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to see some behind the scenes stuff about how they filmed it and what effects and how they use that. Yeah, like smoke machines and stuff, and how exactly they got the camera work to follow it in so fast and move. And like when Ash is like possessed and he's spinning around, the camera goes super fast.
Yeah, I was wondering how they filmed that. And like he's going through the trees and it's like super fast. I'm like, how do they do that? Because it looks real for the most part, I think.
Right.
It doesn't look like a green screen or anything. I don't know how they did that.
Yeah, well, Sam Raimi knows. This is probably surprising. Evil Dead 2 came out 6 days
here for a
after.
Second. We have a special guest in the Cinephellas studios tonight. We have Sam Raimi.
Hey, Sam.
You boys. He's from Michigan.
And there's his brother, Uncle Ted Raimi.
Hey, I was saying.
Oh shit! Yeah, so Sam Raimi of Spider-Man, the trilogy. I'd say he's probably most known for that now. But yeah, he started out with these Evil Dead films, and Evil Dead 1 came out in 1981. This is 6 years later. So like we said, the first, it had a lot of the same kind of effects as the first one, but this is like a definite like upgrade. Like in that 6-year span, technology definitely increased, and the practical effects got even better than the first one.
Yeah, the whole like set design was a lot better too. Like It was more polished. The only word I can think of is like more polished in the sequel. Everything all around, effects, camera work. Yeah, let's just look better.
It looked less like a film student's movie this time. It looked like a professional director. Yeah,
just like the first Evil Dead. It's like super dark and it's a horror movie, but you can tell it's super low budget just the way it's filmed. And they obviously fixed all that with the sequel. They probably had a lot more money too.
Yeah, definitely an increase of the budget, and they got Bruce Campbell back, and also in the sequel, another thing that they introduced to the Evil Dead franchise for the first time was the comedy aspect to it. There's a lot of comedy in this with Ash. He becomes more of the character we know now, like the smart ass, sarcastic, like badass, taking charge Ash Williams.
Yeah, the character that we know and love, and it's a lot of slapstick comedy in this movie. You know, part 2 and then like Army of Darkness are more comedies, I think, where the first movie is super serious and a horror movie. But I love how they introduced the comedic side of it too, because it's what makes Evil Dead great. You know, the comedy of you know, Bruce Campbell, Ash's, you know, one-liners like groovy and you know all that. Hey, she bitch. You know, just all the lines. He becomes this larger than life character. In the first movie, he was really shy, reserved, you know, kind of character. In this movie, he becomes a badass, you know, getting his arm cut off and then getting the chainsaw and then the boomstick. You know, he just becomes this like badass, iconic character that we know how many years later.
Yeah, and the franchise is still going. I mean, we just had the Evil Dead series on Stars, and they were talking about doing another Evil Dead, I guess, which they're actively working on now, where it's going to take place up in a high rise, I guess. So it's going to be kind of like a modern take on it's not going to be a cabin. It's going to be like a high rise, which sounds pretty interesting. I don't know how they'll do it. And then I don't think Bruce is back for that, is he? Is he just it's not going to be Ash then.
No, but he's involved, but I don't think he's going to be in it. But I'm interested to see what they do with it.
Me too. Is it still Fede Alvarez that did the?
I think
he's going to do the new one.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to say it is. Yeah. So that gives me hope that maybe Bruce will come in, you know, because he was in the end of the first one there, like the little cameo. So maybe it's just, you know, Bruce doesn't want to spoil the secret.
Yeah, I'm interested because it's one of my favorite series ever.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'd say 2 is the best overall, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would say that. Army of Darkness is a good time, but it's probably my least favorite of the 3. I would say the sequel.
Yeah,
the first movie and then Army of Darkness.
Yeah, that's probably the order that I put it into. Like Army of Darkness was one of the first ones I saw. I think I might have saw Evil Dead 1 like a long time ago, but I didn't really remember it. But then I remember like we had satellite and we got the Stars package, and they were showing like Army of Darkness like when it came out, and I just remember it being on all the time, and I was always watching it. But the effects are kind of shaky in that, especially when they're doing the whole skeleton like sword battle and stuff. It doesn't look as good as 2.
Yeah, that's true.
It's still cool.
Yeah, that's true. But they had a larger, I guess, set, you know, with that going like medieval times and all that stuff.
Yeah,
it'd be harder to pull that off, I think. But yeah, part 2 is the most polished when it comes to effects. I think everything looks pretty top notch. Doesn't look as spotty as the first one.
Just blood and gore everywhere, just like bathed in it, like just like a fire hose open, you know. Like crazy demons, like fat ones, you know, getting sliced open, limbs flying off, pretty much everything you can think of. Bruce cutting off his own hand. The hand comes alive. Obviously, it becomes possessed, so he chops it off. Yeah, and of course, it's still not dead. He has to try to stop it. It reminded me of the Addams Family hand.
Yeah, for sure. That's what it reminded me of. And you have all the scenes of him, you know, evil Ash, you know, like the prosthetics and makeup of evil Ash. I thought that's really cool. He's always like trying to battle himself and then his inner self throughout the movie, which is pretty cool. Sets up a lot of great scenes. And another great memorable scene I'm thinking about is when the house comes alive and you have the deer up on the wall and he like turns to the camera. He's like, ah! He's like laughing all crazy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
The house comes
that's
alive.
Like when the evil takes over and the house is all fully possessed. Yeah, badass effects. I agree. Yeah.
And I like he like zoom in the camera right to his face. I just love that shot. It's an
I know.
iconic shot. A lot of good ones.
So many ones. Yeah, and that little cellar in the floor where he opens it up there. That's been in like a bunch of the Evil Dead movies. That's like their thing with the door. You know, they lift it up and there's always like a demon in there. Yeah. So this one was the same. There was more demons down there. Obviously, you talked about his boomstick. There are some badass parts in there where he basically points the barrel to a fucking demon's head and pulls a trigger and it just blows up. Some badass.
Like twirling it and boosh.
Yeah, twirls it all confidently.
All
yeah, really cool.
And I love that, like when he gets the chainsaw, has the boomstick, and they obviously zoom into him. He's groovy.
Yeah.
And then he just like fucking snaps and just like starts killing everything.
Right. Yeah, it's super fun movie for sure. Love it.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell, one of my favorite actors. Been in a lot of B style movies and TV shows. Briscoe County Jr. Yeah, all those shows. Xena, he was in. I love him.
Hotel.
I love him. Even as an older man, I still see him as Ash. Like it's his.
Yeah, he's super. Yeah, whenever we saw him, he seems like he's like super confident and like totally inhabits the role. Like he is Ash. He's like, I'm gonna own it. He just He
was in a trailer and he's wearing like the wife beater and the Hawaiian shirt. It's the same character.
I know.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
It was some trailer in Michigan. Yep. But yeah, overall, just a really great sequel. I love this movie. I love Sam Raimi, one of my favorite directors. This is where he got his career started with Evil Dead, and him and Bruce Campbell, and one of the better sequels in horror movies of all time for sure. Cinematography, performances, lots of iconic scenes, great cinematography. All across the board, just a really good sequel.
Yeah, absolutely. The soundtrack and sound effects are top notch too. Everything you mentioned, the gore factor is like up to a 10 here. Like it couldn't get much gorier. I'm agreeing with you on all that. I really love this movie. It was fun watch. I want to watch it again already. It's one of those movies you can watch over and over again. You'll never get tired of.
Yeah, it's like a movie I watch throughout the year, like both Evil Deads. Even like it's Christmas, I'm like, I want to watch some Deadites and Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
kill the evil, kill the demons.
Let's watch good kill evil. Yeah.
Something super gory with like gallons of blood squirting everywhere and awesome.
Just ridiculous. Yeah, over the top. Awesome.
Yeah, but I've been a fan of this franchise my whole life. I remember the first time seeing Evil Dead when I was like junior high, I think. I'm just like, I was hooked. I'm like, this is badass. And then watching it over 20 plus years, it just never gets old. One of my favorite franchises, and definitely a movie I watched during the Halloween season.
Yeah. Groovy. You love it. Yeah. You love Evil Dead, dude. You got the Bruce tattoo. You got, so.
I just, something about it, just the cheesiness of it, how it's like not taken really seriously and just like has the B movie factor to it. And, Ash Williams, Bruce Campbell. It's just a fun movie. Fun series.
Oh yeah. It's different than every other horror movie out there. It's its own thing. And it's a classic to be watched during every 31 days of horror for sure.
For sure. We will watch it every October. We always talk about Evil Dead. It's something that we always end up quoting and running into the cast at a convention or something. It just always have a good story about Evil Dead, What would you give Evil Dead 2?
Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn, gets a big 5 out of 5. Perfect horror film hairpieces from old Uncle Henry here. What about you, Uncle Logan?
I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 dead-eyed hairpieces and say, that's groovy. Boogity. Wow, a perfect score from both of us. I think, is that the first time that's happened?
I think so. Yeah. I don't think we don't give out the perfect score too much. I think I know a couple movies we would, but yeah, as far as horror goes, there isn't anything to complain about here. It's like original. We love it. We love Evil Dead and we love the Bruce Campbell character of Ash. It's amazing. Yeah. Hope the franchise keeps going. Hope to see Ash again on screen. That would be awesome.
Yes, dude. I want to see it continue introducing more characters, him passing down the torch. maybe. I don't know.
Probably eventually. Yeah, he's going to have to.
But I would be on board with that. I'd love to bring that one actress back.
Jane Levy.
Yeah, bring her back. I think she's really great in horror. Don't Breathe, and she was in Castle Rock, and Evil Dead, obviously. So I would love to see her continue.
I thought you too. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that at all. I don't know if they've announced any casting for the new one, but I don't know if she's coming back or not. But
well, that was a groovy review, boys. Well, it was good seeing you, Henry.
Good seeing you, man. Evil Dead 2, one of our favorites.
Yeah, next Halloween we'll have to do like Army of Darkness. We'll have to rewatch that. Maybe do it like a live of us watching it and laughing at it. That'd be fun.
I'm totally down. Yep, see him in medieval times, battle some she-bitches.
Yeah, and some skeletons.
It looked like the 1930s, like Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah, it does. It's pretty much the same. It looked all fake.
Yeah, maybe that's what they were going for. They wanted it to look like that shit from back in the day, probably. Like with the claymation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. I love low budget shit like that. Makes it
I know.
Well, that about wraps it up for these wild ghouls. Hopefully you guys had a good time with this review. We got more movie reviews coming right here on our YouTube channel for 31 Days of Horror. This is Logan Myerz and
Henry Hill
signing out from the Cinephellas. Until the next horror movie review. Cheers!